So my name's Dr. Brian Aldridge, and I'm from the University of Illinois College of Veterinary Medicine. And I'm standing here on a very large farm in the Midwest of the United States of America. It's September, and I'm surrounded by about 1,000 pregnant dairy cows. Now, this is an unusual situation because the farm is so massive. And what we do on dairy farms, as we do in a lot of other production systems, is we arrange our animals into their production stages. So these animals are all within the last 60 days of their pregnancy. And in those 60 days, in those last 2 months of pregnancy, the last 2 months of a 9-month gestation, their physiological, their growth, their nutritional needs are all about the same. So managementally, it makes sense to all have them in one place so that we can manage them all in the same way. The milking cows are not in this shed. They're in different sheds. The calves are not in this shed. They're in different sheds. All of these cows are at the same production stage, and that means we can be very efficient and very effective in managing them. And what we want to talk about, we're standing here because we're talking about the impact of disease on growth and production. And it's very easy to look at these animals and think that our main concern are these animals, but they've actually, most of them, stopped their growth. What they're doing as they're eating is they're contributing to the growth of another individual. They're contributing to the growth of the fetus that's growing inside of them. And when we think about growth, we think about that postnatal growth, that growth that takes place after birth. And we're going to be studying that in some detail. But I want you to think about what's taking place inside of all of these mothers. Whatever we do to those animals is going to affect food production by affecting the efficiency and effectiveness of growth and development of that embryo, whether it's in the uterus of our mammalian production animals or whether it's in the egg of our avian production animals. The management of that gestation period is really important for efficient production. So how can we as managers affect positively or negatively those processes that are taking place inside the uterus? We know that the genetics impact that growth and development. We can select a different bull, we can select a different cow with different genes, and that will influence how much growth will take place. What are the energy demands and the protein demands of that growth process? We can make it more efficient by changing the genetics. But we can also affect it by changing the epigenetics. That's the factors that are outside that are affecting which genes are expressed and how well they're expressed. Influences that impact the metabolism of the cow, impact the endocrinology, the hormones that are circulating within that cow as well. So what we do managementally affect the inside of this cow and affect the outside of the cow. So if we look around this shed, for instance, firstly, let's just talk about the environment. It's about 70 degrees today. It's a lovely temperature. If you look at the cows, they're very, very comfortable. They're not spending a lot of their energy in thermoregulation. This is almost their thermoneutral zone, the zone in which they're not too cold and not too hot. Now, this system is set up wonderfully. This is a wonderful shed because it's designed to keep them in their thermoregulatory, their thermoneutral zone. There's a lot of space on the outside for ventilation to come in. There are curtains on the outside of this building that can be lowered when there's different temperatures or different climatic conditions, all of which will affect their energy demands and therefore will affect fetal development and fetal growth. There's a ridge on top of this barn so that the air that comes in the side as a result of the movement induced and invoked by the body heat of these animals, the air will be moved, but it will be removed. The air will rise and it will be removed from this building. So potentially toxic components such as that produced from the manure or from the urine won't negatively affect them, won't stress them. We can also see the fans that are in place as well. So these fans are placed above the cows to help the velocity and the volume of air movement above them. The fans aren't directed to be on the cows themselves, but it's helping this air movement, particularly in days where there's little wind. That'll help the humidity, that'll help the temperature, That'll help the number of microbes that are building up in this environment. So really that comes under the umbrella of very, very good ventilation. The system's also designed so that humidity doesn't build up. The water sources are focally and locally placed. The manure is removed frequently. The bedding is kept dry. The sand is replaced often. Any manure is removed from it. All of that contributes to a dry and comfortable environment for the cows. When they're not stressed, when their hormones of stress are not circulating in their body, the growth in the fetus is maintained and optimized and effective. Secondly, we can look at the cows themselves. And if you look at these cows in this pen, even though there's 1,000 of them in this one shed, and people might say, well, that is a problem with overstocking, these cows have plenty of space to move around. We don't see any fighting taking place. They're in groups in which they're comfortable. There's no dominance hierarchy taking place. The cows are lying down, they're chewing their cud, they're ruminating. All of these are behavioral indicators of physiological well-being. If the animals aren't stressed, if the animals don't have stress hormones circulating around their body, if the animal's fight and flight nervous system isn't stimulated, then fetal growth and development in the uterus is optimized and is effective and efficient. So the stocking density, the number and type of animals that are put together in the same group are really important management factors in taking care of fetal growth and fetal development. And thirdly, and very importantly, is the nutrition. These animals have the ideal nutrition for this stage of gestation. They're not overfed and they're not underfed. They have free access to food at all time. Any unused food, any contaminated food is removed. At times when the food is becoming depleted, it's replenished. And that occurs at multiple times during the day. And there's people here that are watching to making sure that these animals have as much food as they want of the right composition so that they don't get too fat, that they don't produce the wrong hormones, that they're kept in the right body condition. Why? So that the nutrition of the fetus and the embryo is optimized, so that that growth and development of the fetus and its future life as a calf and as a productive animal is the most effective that it can be.